Hi, everyone. For today's podcast, we are talking to two individuals about an exciting new program in the EVSC. So welcome, BJ Watts. BJ is the Executive Director of OptIN. Carrie Hillyard, thanks for joining us. Carrie is the Chief Transformation Officer for the EVSC. So let's talk about RAMP. So first question for you, Carrie. What is RAMP for someone who has not heard of this?
RAMP stands for Real World Application Maximizing Potential. It is a program that we've put into place where it is fully embedded in the manufacturing industry at AmeriQual with our partner. Students go to school half the day and they're working at AmeriQual half the day, really practicing and honing in on some really essential manufacturing skills and employability skills for their future.
And so just to clarify, when you say working, they're not just working, they're earning money just like anyone who does work that's working, correct?
They are actual AmeriQual employees earning income, which has been a real draw-in for some of our students who really have the need to earn income while in high school.
And in that other half of the day, they are actually working through their high school programming so that at the end of the program, they are going to graduate from high school, correct?
Absolutely. And they can complete all their coursework there on site at AmeriQual in the RAMP classrooms that we have there with the RAMP staff that are actual EVSC staff.
So we actually have EVSC teachers who are there working with these students for the half of the day they're in the classroom.
We do.
Okay, so BJ, let's go back just a bit. I mean,
Okay.
This is a new program. How did we get here?
In a conversation, we heard about a program that was in Augusta, Georgia. And we, Carrie, myself, and Alex Burton went down to look at it. And once we arrived there, we met with Richmond County School Districts, and they are partnered with Textron, a company. Now, theirs is actually pulled out of the plant. Theirs is in a separate building owned by the school corporation.
Okay.
But when we got to it, we saw the success that they had. We knew, like when we got back on the plane coming home, we were all three like, this is something that we have to do. I mean,
And what does that company do?
They actually make, Textron owns Cessna airplanes. They own EasyGo golf carts. So what the students do down there is they make the brake lines. It actually started with brake lines only for all of the EasyGo golf carts in the country that Textron makes. So if you have an EasyGo golf cart, those brake lines are made by students.
So those students that you saw there, same concept, working in a class setting, working
Yes.
through high school, but then they're actually working in this plant in Georgia.
And the thing that separates ours is ours are truly fully embedded. Like our students
Okay.
work inside AmeriQual's actual plant. Now, the one in Augusta, Georgia, it's an old textbook warehouse that the
Okay.
school corporation owned that is right around the corner from Textron.
But
So
for us, they're actually
They
in
are
the plant.
in there working side by side with industry experts, learning those skills.
Okay. So, Carrie, recently I've had conversations with individuals about this, and their first question after they hear about this and they kind of step back and think, what a great opportunity, their next question is, how do you get there? Who's this for? So let's talk about this. What type of student exactly can we benefit? Can we help? Talk about that.
Yeah, I would echo what BJ said. First of all, we first visited the program in Augusta, Georgia, the RPM program, met with Dr. Jason Moore down there in Augusta. That was April of 2018. So we started the ideation phase in the 17-18 school year, and we're really thoughtful about what type of program we need here in our community and why that's important, and what type of student would need and what type of student would be a good fit for this program. So one of the things we learned talking to students at RPM was, there's so many different types of needs of kids.
Sure.
And that program fulfilled a lot of different types of needs that they were experiencing. So we knew we wanted to emulate that here in Evansville. Students may have financial need, and we wanted to be able to support that. Students may have need for wraparound services. We wanted to be able to support that. Students may need that strong mentor and that strong relationship in place. We wanted to be able to offer that with RAMP. So we really did think through what are all the different types of needs students have, but also then who's the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
So we really did put a process into place where we can assess what sorts of needs students have, like are they credit deficient? Do they have poor attendance? Because we wanted to use this as an opportunity to motivate students to come to school, to get here, to finish. So we look at a lot of different pieces like that really help us sort of understand what type of student's the right fit. We want students who need it the most. And then we get them in there as soon as we can.
And we know, in fact, we just said this recently, that when we think about a barrier being in place that could prevent a student from being successful, that barrier could be all kinds of barriers for all kinds of reasons. So it would do us no good to just pigeonhole that and say it's for a student with this particular barrier. It's for any student that has a particular need that this program can make them successful, correct? And then with this program, am I correct in saying first of its kind in the state of Indiana? There's no other program like this here in the Hoosier State. And when you look nationally, we're one of what, 3? Is
One
that
of
right,
3.
BJ?
Southwire was the original program, which is actually just outside of Atlanta. Then there's Augusta, Georgia, the RPM program, and then we are number 3.
Okay. AmeriQual has been a fantastic partner, to say the least. We can't stress that enough because this has been a major financial commitment for them. It's really changed the way in which part of their program is operating, really, to include our students. So talk to me, BJ, about some of the feedback you've received. I know you work closely with the AmeriQual officials.
When we went down on this visit, we actually took a few corporations with us.
When you first went down to Georgia.
There was an
second
original
visit.
visit that was
Mhm.
just our OptIN team. Then with the
Okay.
second visit, we obviously took Dr. Smith. We wanted him to see it firsthand. And we took some community partners. There were some folks from National Bank went.
Mhm.
And we took 2 or 3 corporations with 2 or 3 industry partners down there with us as well. But as we're debriefing at the airport, I feel like we all felt that AmeriQual shared not only the vision, because, and Mercedes says it best, like if you go down there and you see this program, the success that it's having, if you have a heart, you are like, oh, we have to do this. But when you get back home, you start looking at, this is $1.5 million investment for on the AmeriQual side.
Sure.
That's a different conversation.
And they're a business. I mean,
Absolutely.
they have
They're in
to
the business
account
of
for every
making money.
dollar. And
Absolutely.
you referred to Mercedes. She is their vice president of human resources, and she really has been vital throughout this whole
She's
process.
literally become almost an OptIN partner. I mean, she's become one of our team members. As a matter of fact, when she sends out her emails, she literally starts them with "Hello, team."
Right.
And that's truly what this is. I mean, when we had some folks in from the state last week, they wanted to come in and see the program, and they asked, "Why does this work? How can we duplicate this? How can we emulate this in other communities?" And Mercedes' answer was that there's a trust factor. We trust the EVSC. They trust us. There are really hard conversations that have to happen when you're spending that kind of money in the private sector on an investment that, to be honest, we had seen it be successful in Georgia.
Right.
But
that program's been running for a while.
It's in year
This
3,
is
absolutely.
in its infancy for us, and it is amazing how it's running.
And I would add that trust is mutual.
100%.
We trust them back just the same. And without that, I don't think this would be successful.
But with that trust, you're able to have those conversations around a table like this, where you
Right.
can share from not only the education side of things, but the business corporate side of things, how to make this work together. I assume that's what you're referring to, Carrie.
Absolutely. I mean, for us to put a crazy idea out there, like, hey, we really want to serve students as young as 16 years of age, they didn't employ students at that age in their traditional practices. They would hire adults 18 and over. And they got there because they had the same why. We have the same mission in mind, and they are really student focused and they're community focused. So that's that mutual trust we have. When you agree on the why, it seems like we can problem solve through anything and get to a solution and get to even seeing things that come up along the way as opportunities.
And I think that Carrie hit the nail on the head there with the mission. There's a difference between having a mission and having an agenda. This was never self-serving. Every conversation that we had, why we knew that they were the right partners, every conversation that we had started with what's going to be best for our students. And they refer to them not as EVSC students, they refer to them as these are our students because, and you've heard them say before, the company was started to serve with the MREs to serve their country.
Sure.
And that mission
because
is
they
now
do food packaging, all kinds of things with different different corporate partners. If you don't
Yes.
know that about AmeriQual.
Yes, and their original function was to serve the military, for the MREs. So, and they said, we want to expand that mission to serve our community. So every conversation starts with and is centered around what is best for our students. Now, it obviously has to be a good situation for the EVSC, and it has to be a good situation for AmeriQual for this to work. I mean, because this is a hefty investment for everyone.
It is a major partnership.
Absolutely, and you know when we talk about when we start having, Carrie said crazy conversations, we're like, okay, we're going to need you to build classrooms on site at AmeriQual, and they were like, okay, we understand that. I mean, those are things that
Well, they're
they've
not
never
used to
had. They
having-
don't. They've never. They
don't
don't
have
exist.
classrooms.
So
They didn't have school
there was
buses
no
coming in the
precedent to
morning.
follow.
They didn't have to feed students lunches
No.
like we. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that come into play here when you've never had a program like this before.
Yeah, they actually amended their start time to their workday to
Wow.
accommodate our bus schedule.
That is amazing.
So, and they, our ramp classrooms are on the off the back of the building by the loading docks, and they leave those last 2 docks open every morning from 7:30 to 8 and from 3:30 to 4 for student pickup. Again, this is. And you've been out there. I mean, you've seen. It's not like there's downtime at AmeriQual. I mean, they are
No.
shipping millions and millions
Sure.
of products every single day, all
Right.
day long, 7 days a week. So for them to make those concessions to accommodate us speaks to how bought in they are in this partnership.
In fact, their president, when they recently came to one of our school board meetings, made the point blank statement, if you continue to expand this program, we want to continue to be a partner even when we look at expansion. I mean, that was a bold statement for the head of the company to make.
And Dennis Straub he's the conversations that we've had with him, and I think that he alluded to the fact that Mersada brought this to them. And again, originally, when someone brings you this idea, everyone's like, yeah, this sounds great, let's do it. But when you twist it down and put a pencil to it, it's a huge investment. And Mersada talked yesterday, when we were the Monday before, because I do want to go back to, we actually truly hit the ground running with AmeriQual in February of 19.
Last February, just this past spring, yes.
So in 7 months' time, and then I think that was Dennis's response was, yes, we want to do this, but can you really build something like this in 7 months? Which speaks to the power of the EVSC team. And I feel like I left that out at our press event yesterday. And this is me having just left the classroom 2 years ago. I didn't understand all of the moving parts and the logistics that work to, like you just said, delivering food, to bus transportation, to, okay, well, maybe with bus transportation, it's not like their only concern is picking up my 80 students and getting them to AmeriQual.
Right.
It's also, it changes the pickup time for 23,000 students across the district because it amends every single bus
It's part
route.
of a larger process. No
Yes.
doubt about that. So I do want to go back to you, Carrie, and just talk a bit about the students, how many we have, how that works. Do we have the capacity to add more? How is that working with the students that are there?
So as of tomorrow, we're onboarding 5 more students. We'll be at 76 students total.
So we can continue to add students as the year moves on.
We can continue to add students. We're going to have an open continuous enrollment process. At the same time, we have to stay in the 80 student range right now until we really get to know what's that feel like. We only have a certain amount of staff out there. We want to make sure we're serving the students we have effectively. But also, every student that's there, AmeriQual has to schedule and manage on the work side too. So that has to be really articulated in a real clear process in place for how that works, because students have all the HR process to go through, all the HR onboarding. We have to get effective or all the appropriate personal protective equipment for every student that starts. They have to go through safety training. So it is really a process to onboard students, but then once they're onboarded, they seem to just step right in and work right into being successful in the program, on the classroom and on the work side.
And I do want to follow that up, because I certainly don't want to lose sight of the fact that on the classroom side of things, we have a director there who kind of serves as a principal, director, whatever you want to call, Dr. Heron, and then a group of teachers. And really, they are working, we do talk a lot about the time in the plant, but in that classroom, they are working through their entire high school program to get their credits, right?
They are. To get their credits and to earn industry certifications, which is an exciting opportunity here. I agree. I cannot underscore enough how phenomenal that staff out at the RAMP program is. Dr. Heron did an amazing job of hiring a team that is very well-rounded, just multifaceted in their talents, which is good because they really do have a small team, but they are a small, very powerful team that has a ton of expertise. And every single person has that same heart and mission for really supporting kids in an effective and unique way.
So let's think about this as part of the bigger picture, BJ. I want to come to you for this as Executive Director of OptIN. OptIN really is about us forming partnerships with those in our community businesses to make this community better? Do you want to
Absolutely.
elaborate on that?
I think that is, and that goes back to why AmeriQual has been the perfect partner. We have an opt-in advisory council where we have lots of industry partners that are competitors. The HR director from AmeriQual will sit beside the HR director at Berry Plastics,
Sure.
and they trade employees. They fight
may
for the
be
same
competing
employees,
for the same top talent.
yes.
Absolutely.
But they understand that that this is a community effort. That this is truly, when the talent pool increases, which is the goal of opt-in, that everyone gets better.
Right.
Like right now, I've heard them say, they use the term, we're just trading jerseys. They may work for Berry for 3 months, and then for Flanders, or for 3 years, and for Flanders for 3 years, and for AmeriQual for 3 years.
Right.
But if we have an influx of talent, additional talent, then everyone's talent level raises and everyone gets better. And that has been probably the most positive thing to me from the opt-in advisory council itself, is that they truly are civic minded. Now, everyone has their own interest. Obviously, the folks from Toyota care about Toyota the most, and the folks from Flanders care about Flanders the most, but they truly do want to do what's best for Evansville and Vanderburgh County, and Region 11 for that matter of fact. I mean, I said Toyota is one of our partners, and they're located in Princeton, but we want to do what's best for our region. But it all starts with, they want to do what's best for our students, because they understand that our students are the pipeline that they need to continue to do what they do.
And our superintendent, David Smith, has been very open about that. The fact that we have community partners, businesses that need employees. We have future employees coming through our K-12 system. And working together, we can not only make our schools, these companies better, we can make our community better.
And I think that is David's leadership in this is, I can't overstate it enough. Like you alluded to the fact that Dennis Straub was there yesterday. This is the president and CFO of a $800 million a year company.
Right.
And he's there talking to our students. Matter of fact, he knew both of them by name when he came in. And there are all kinds of programs. I've been parts of all kinds of things where we sit around the table and we have good intentions and we talk about how can we make things better for kids. That's happened for a long, long time. But when you truly have our leader, in essence, the CEO of this school corporation standing behind this, now all of a sudden that gets different attention, and the action. I'll allude to one of the things that Mackenzie Coulter said, who's employed by Flanders. She's on our opt-in advisory council. She said, I've been involved in education initiatives for 15 years, but I've never seen so much action so quickly. And we understand that starts at the top, because without Dr. Smith's support of this, and without the EVSC school board support of this, these things don't happen, because they're all an investment. Now, we understand that we don't always see, we can't always quantify the benefits that come from the things that we do. It's not like we're going to, the thing that makes me appreciate David so much is this program is not going to change a single school grade. This is not, which is in the community's eyes, is the only metric that we're judged by.
Right. This is
intended
for a different purpose.
This is intended to do what's right by kids.
Right.
And that is why.
And if that doesn't drive our work, nothing should.
And that is what should drive our work. And that's why my respect for him is so high, because, again, our metric is our school grades.
Right.
And this program is going to truly, you heard Mercedes say, we are changing lives every single day. And that is what I appreciate about the EVSC. Having serving on the State Board of Education, I get a different lens with a lot of different school corporations.
Which we didn't even talk about that, but you certainly bring a different dynamic to it because of your involvement with State Board of Education in Indiana.
And seeing, so I have the opportunity to be in a lot of different buildings. And there's lots of great work going on throughout the state. Let me say that first.
Sure.
But, and I know I'm a little biased, but I don't see anyone doing it like we do it. Everything that we do well, and we have the right intentions, because we want to do, first and foremost, we're going to do what's right by students, and everything else works itself out.
Right.
That's a conversation we actually have a lot as a team is, yes, we can implement a lot of things, but are we able to implement in a high quality way? And until we feel like we can answer that question effectively, then it may not be time to proceed on something that may be really important, but may not be the right time to do it right now. And
that's where Carrie's great for me, is because I get a little excited sometimes. And Carrie said, and she'll quote me, she's like, you always say that we do things in a high quality manner. Can we implement this tomorrow? Sure we can. Can we do it in a high quality manner? No, we can't. So let's step back. Let's work through all of these things. And I'll be honest, like our team is we talked about the team at Ramp, which is amazing. Like our OptIN team, we're 4 folks. We have Robin Wipkenberg and Alex Burton, who are also part of our OptIN team. And when you look at the things that we've been able to work through in 12 months' time, it's honestly, it's something that I'm proud of, and something that I feel like everyone on our team is proud of the things that we've managed.
Well, and I think when you look at this model, and I don't want to give away names here because that wouldn't be appropriate, but am I correct in saying we have been contacted by other school districts, other businesses that would be interesting in seeing this model to expand it, even some of those far, far away from us?
We've actually I was at a conference in San Francisco, and we had
remember no names.
Okay, I apologize. The largest school corporation in the United States of America actually reached out to us and said, "Hey, we would love to come and see your program when it's running." We've had certainly the largest districts within our state have reached out and asked to come down and see it, and ask, how can we make this work here? How can we duplicate what you have going there? And that is, and I want to bring that back to AmeriQual. Now there's a little proof in the pudding now. Everyone's seen that, hey, this can work. AmeriQual did this blindly. They could have spent $1.5 million, and we could have been 2 weeks in. Look, we had our press event yesterday. That could have been a different conversation.
Right.
Now they're at the table saying, listen, we want to expand this. We want more kids. And we haven't gotten there yet either. The students, we build all these things. Corey and his staff run everything, but the people that are actually doing the work are our students.
Sure.
And there were 2 lines.
16 and 17 years old.
It's so impressive.
Right.
And there were lines out there, I'm going to share this, that said originally, we don't want any kids. We don't.
Well, they're not used to having what they would consider
I don't
kids.
want a 16-year-old on my line.
Right.
And our program started the first day of school, August 7th. And by August 9th, Dennis Straub, the president and CFO of AmeriQual, said that those line leaders were coming to him saying, hey, we'd like to have some students now, because
that is a win.
That is a win. And they're truly performing equally, or in some cases outperforming, the full-time worker line production, which is a testament. And the kids take a pride in it. Like, that is the one thing to me that means the most about this, is when you go out there, and again, these are students that have had barriers and maybe traditional school setting wasn't the most appealing to them.
Right.
And they're happy. I mean, they smile. You walk in. They're happy to
Carrie,
be there.
wouldn't you agree that is our challenge as a successful large school corporation in this state, to create systems and programs that can help all students be successful, even students that maybe in the traditional route that wasn't the path for them?
Absolutely. And that's sort of where we're at right now in terms of with Ramp is, okay, we've launched, we're getting some success. The students are feeling a lot of success. The students are feeling hope. They're feeling engaged. We don't have perfection. We never will, right? It's like any school. There's always going to be things bubble up along the way that we have to work through. Now we're at that point where we can take a step back. Let's take a deep breath. Let's study. Let's see how this is going. Let's really look at our baseline data. Let's set some goals for improvement. And let's really think about what's working, what's not working, before we start talking about scaling up and expanding into other sectors. You know, we really need to just take time with this and learn from it and talk to kids, talk to teachers that are there, talk to the employer, and really learn from it along the way. And that's the mindset that EVSC always brings to something, is really that process of continuous improvement and process improvement along the way. And we've already had opportunities. I was already able to meet with the staff for a couple of hours one day, and we did a deep dive into what's going well, where are areas of weakness, what are opportunities we need to maximize, what are things we need to be aware of that could be a threat to the success of this program. And we've already even enlisted some action steps from that process to continue to get better as a program, and also take that knowledge and apply it into the future in terms of, if we were to ever do this again, we've learned so much already from what we've implemented. And so I think it's important to do that, to really catalog our knowledge and improve along the way. And that's something I feel like that's the most important thing that the OptIN team can do right now, is to really take a step back and start to study it.
And we've even had some ongoing dialogue with the company in Georgia, right? Reaching out to us just to kind of see what we've learned so that we can continue to help them like they helped us.
We have. I had a personal phone call from Dr. Moore down at RPM recently after the RAMP program launched, and he was so excited for Dr. Heron and the team there that they got to launch the program. And now it was what was, I think, really flattering and really humbling was for him to say, we want to come up and visit you guys, and we want to learn from the RAMP team and what they're doing, because you guys are jumping into some things that we haven't done yet here, and we want to continue to learn from each other. So it was really neat to think that Dr. Heron and his team may have a little bit of a PLC themselves that they can learn from one of the 3 programs in the nation that are doing this. So that was really exciting to think that, they really could have some collaboration and continue to get better by learning from one another.
As we get ready to wrap this up, Carrie, what's one of your favorite RAMP stories, favorite stories involving success of a student here in the first month of the school year?
Oh, it's hard to pick one because there are many. I really have gotten to the pleasure of getting to know some of the kids out there, and I don't always get to be fully embedded in a program like that in my role, but I have been able to spend a lot of time out at the RAMP program getting to know students. There have been a number of kids that have just been a joy to get to know. One of my favorite things, though, was talking one of our students who was promoted right away into quality control. What's amazing about this young lady, she's a bossy student. She is already a systems level thinker and thinks a lot like myself. So I connect with her on that regard.
You can appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah. But one of the things that really impresses me about her is just her confidence, that she every time I see her, she's got a smile on her face. Last time I saw her, she was telling me about a promotion. She got a perfect attendance bonus for the month of August, which is $1 extra an hour for the whole month. She was very excited about that.
That's big for a 16 or 17-year-old student.
And then she wrapped it up by telling me that she is extraordinary. And, to see that confidence on a student and to feel that level of hope and to see her confidence for her future is pretty exciting.
And we talk a lot about the word hope. That story you described, that's hope.
That's hope.
BJ, we'll end with you going forward. You want to see what as you think about this, how it fits within our OptIN program? Where do we go from here?
I think scaling this program is obviously an interest. But to Carrie's point, we have to make sure everyone wants to grow it. And that in itself is probably the biggest compliment to me, is the fact that the folks that have invested $1 million are saying, hey, can we invest another $1 million to grow this program? That and again, we're 30 days in, but they've seen the value. Not only have they seen the value, but I feel like our kids, to Carrie's point, I mean, you had a 16-year-old who understands that she's extraordinary now. Dr. Smith said yesterday, you're worth it to the kiddos. I mean, that is what I feel like they see now.
Right.
Is the fact that, hey, even though I may not have experienced an abundance of success in a traditional classroom setting, these are things that I'm really, really good at. Maybe better than some of the classmates that I had that are experiencing success in that. And that is what I want OptIN to be. We want to expand opportunities. There are so many different skill sets and levels of interest that we want to find out on an individual basis what kids are good at and what they like to do, and how can we marry those two things into a career that benefits them, their families, and our community.
Okay. Well said. Great discussion on RAMP today. In fact, let's do this again. This isn't going to be our last conversation. We're only a month into the school year. Let's come back here middle of the year and really dive in and talk about where it's at then, if we've heard anything about any expansions, that type of thing.
Absolutely.
BJ Watts, thank you.
Thanks
Carrie
for having
Hillyard,
us.
thank you very much.
Thank
Great
you for
discussion.
having us.